What's up, guys? PyroMiner23 here, and today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo 64. Hello, guys. As you know, today we're talking about the beloved Nintendo 64. Now, what you're looking at right now is my original Nintendo 64 that I got in 2002 for my 4th birthday. It came with Mario Kart 64. By the way, it was in a box new. They still sold them new. It was in a box with Mario Kart 64 and Donkey Kong 64. And it has one of those extra memory chips built into it. So one of the great things about the Nintendo 64 is that I believe it was the first console to fully utilize 3D to its fullest potential. Now, there are tons of great games, and I could talk hours and hours about every single game I love for the system, but today I'm just going to be going over a couple and why they're great. So, first off, I guess we're going to be talking about Super Mario 64. This is a great game. It's terrific. It was the first game, in my opinion, to invent the 3D platformer. The ability to choose your own camera angle, the hub world, all the different missions, things to collect, the great graphics, music, storyline, gameplay. Man, it was awesome. It's probably one of my favorite Mario games, if not my favorite Mario game. Super Mario 64. Alright, now we're going to be talking about a little bit lesser known game. It's still pretty well known, and it's still pretty widely beloved. 1080 snowboarding. A little bit of story behind this one. Oh, and for all the games, you'll see gameplay in one of the corners. A little story behind this one. I used to play this at my friend's house all the time. He let me borrow it, and I haven't given it back. It's been like 8 or 9 years, and I haven't given it back. No, it's only been 7 years since I've had it, but I've been playing it for 9 years. I've had this game for like 7 years, and I haven't given it back. It's awesome. It's a snowboarding game. You can do tons of cool tricks. The music's so 90s. It's so 90s. It's beautiful. I love it. It's just a pretty all-around rad game. Pick it up, especially if you love sports games. As you can see, it's fucking awesome. Here we go. Mario Kart 64. I'm just leaving that there for decoration. Mario Kart 64. Holy crap. This is my favorite Mario Kart. The track's amazing. The gameplay, pretty standard Mario Kart fare, but it's still amazing. The battle mode is my favorite out of them all. The map selection's my favorite out of them all. It's so good. It's definitely my favorite kart racer, and up there with my favorite racing games of all time. Star Fox 64. Awesome. On-rails shooter. The best one ever made, in my opinion, except for light gun games. But this game introduced the Rumble Pack, which sadly I do not have. But that was a big innovation for the time. The flying's awesome. Blowing crap up in space is what Star Fox is all about, and this game does it best. Nintendo 64 was home to some of my favorite in any series games, and this is one of them. Star Fox 64 is a must-have. You can beat it in about 20 minutes. But going back and just playing, the multiplayer is good. I could play this game 100 times in a row, and it wouldn't get boring. It's just one of the most purely fun games in the Nintendo 64 library. The design of the console. The Nintendo 64 is a freaking brick. Back here's where your power goes, where I have that in another spot, and I didn't want to mess with my gaming setup to do that, but whatever. The power goes in the back, so you don't have to deal with those big, like, wall adapters about that big. It just is all back there, so you got a little plug, or it can fit in any little spot you want it to. It's indestructible, legit, like, don't do that. Don't do that. This thing is indestructible, though. If I did that with my Xbox, it would probably break. 4 controller ports, which was the first console to make that standard. Very cool. Power, reset, and cartridge slot. It's a great console design. It looks a bit like ugly, but it's the most functional console around. And last, but certainly not least, is the slightly odd Nintendo 64 controller. It did introduce the analog stick, and that was what made it workable for first-person shooters and such. Some people hold it like this and play it like that, or you can hold it like this. I prefer to hold it like this since I don't have the biggest hands. It's an interesting controller, and I've grown to like it. That's probably based on nostalgia and the fact that I've played with this controller thousands of times. No joke. So, I think it's a pretty good controller design. It's a bit weird, but once you get used to it, you learn to love it. In conclusion, the Nintendo 64 is a terrific system. Anyone should get it. It's awesome to collect for. It's relatively cheap nowadays, and the games still hold up and haven't aged a bit. This is my look back review. I wouldn't call it a review. Just looking at the freaking Nintendo 64. Holy crap, this console is amazing. Get one, love one, be one. Power Motor 23, out.